Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Sai Krishna. Welcome to Motivation Hub, and this you are watching podcast series by Sai Krishna. And in today's situation, it is very necessary and it's the most important thing to have a talk with a doctor because the today's situations, even in this pandemic times, in this crisis times, and a lot of people are facing a lot of problems in terms of their mental health, physical health, as well as a lot of problems due to this COVID-19. So today, in my episode, I'm very happy to have Dr. Arvind Murugesan, who is an eminent doctor, who is a neuropholic and a writer and lot more. Sir, today we are very happy to have you on my channel, sir, and there's a short introduction on you, sir.
Hi Sai Krishna. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Today we have with us Dr. Arvind Murugesan. He's a doctor of neuropholic and he's also founder and content writer at Rich Inspiration, Episcopal, Gregarious, and ever exploring and learning. And and Sir completed his Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery MBBS from Dhanalakshmi Srinivasan Medical College and Hospital from Tamil Nadu. And he completed his MBBS internship in Christian Medical College, Vellore in Tamil Nadu. And he is also awarded as gold medalist in microbiology, Wizkid Award, and scholarship winner at the McGinnett Scholarship Summit at Metropolis Healthcare Limited. And he's also worked as a joint secretary at Indian Medical Association Medical Studies Students Network in IMA NSN Tamil Nadu branch, state vice president for external affairs for Tamil Nadu and All India Medical Student Association AIMSA. He's also working as a campus and worked as campus ambassador at CBS Publications and Distributors Private Limited and International Student Partner Infert in verification and validation of medical data and artificial intelligence project Deep AI made by MedLab Media Group SL and a short-term intern at the Center for Stem Cell Research Vellore. Sir, today we are very happy to have you on my channel, sir, because it's been a great pleasure talking to you, sir. Vanakkam. Thank you, sir. Yeah. What are your words, sir? Do you want
Just mind for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, today in this pandemic situations, in this pandemic times, as a doctor, what do you feel that the steps, what are the action plans that the viewers should take in these times of pandemic situations, in these times of series? What is your take on that, sir?
I didn't get you. What are the?
What are the action plans that you give for the viewers in these pandemic situations?
Actually, the thing is, the action plan in the pandemic situation, if you ask me for specifically for pandemic situation, I would say rather don't worry about much things, just follow the safety precautions because unless this is not a very serious illness, like previously we had swine flu, so again now we are having COVID-19, so this is again going to be a normal thing only. So it is again going to get added as one of the viruses in respiratory virus panel only. So nothing is going to affect the entire healthcare system after this pandemic. So if you ask me the action plan at the end of the series means I would say many of us are using social media for various reasons. We are spending a lot of time. I would say like you are also using social media. YouTube is also a social media, but you are using it for some other thing. Like you are using it as a motivational hub. So everyone is getting 1.5 GB of Geo, and this is also a Zoom meeting, and you have a holiday, wasting your time. You just contacted me in LinkedIn, and you are doing this. This inspires a lot of people, right? So just as using social media just for time pass, rather than using it like you can use it in educational platform, you can use it as a motivational platform. So that is the thing I would like to do for the audience. So based on your subject knowledge, you can educate people. Like we will not know many things about different subjects. Like for example, if I am doctor, like COVID-19 pandemic situation may not be a big issue for me, but for other people it may be a big issue. Sharing the simple knowledge which I know may help a lot of people. In the similar way for an engineer also, they may know a lot of things which many others don't know. So we can share like that. We can share motivational content like that. We can share simple things which we do in our day-to-day life that can inspire a lot of people. So using social media for such a platform, right from now, is the action plan which I would like to give for people who are watching this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was really nice, sir. That was really nice, sir. Thanks for the answer. So, what are your favorite books that changed your life, and what are the books that you suggest for our audience in this channel?
So my favorite book, if you ask, means I would like to say Periya Puranam. Even though I have read a lot of books in the recent times, I have not read any Tamil books, but still Periya Puranam, which I have read a lot of years ago, is still my favorite book, and it has impacted my life in a lot of ways. During my childhood, the books which I used to read were not like motivation books because no one were there to suggest those books. Geo was not at that time, cell phone was not at the time, so no ebooks, nothing like that. So the only thing which we used to read is the conventional epics. So that is the thing which were running in TV serials also, and in library also. If I want to read, I used to pick those books and read. While reading those books, when I had the opportunity to read other books like Tamil, when I had interest towards Tamil and moving towards Kambarama and Periya Puranam, all those things, Periya Puranam has a significance that Ramayanam and Mahabharatam, they have a hero and they have a villain and they fight towards something, and ultimately the hero wins. So there occurs a lot of situations where there occurs a lot of cheatings and there occurs a lot of tricks that happens to make them win. But in Periya Puranam, it's all about complete devotion. There are 63 people who completely devoted themselves towards God. So in this world, we are always trying to achieve something. Like we want name, fame, money, all those things. But despite achieving all those things, unless and until God's grace is there, we will be never be complete. So if we achieve something, like if we become a millionaire at some point of time, we may think that we are superior to God and we may forget God also. But in Periya Puranam, if you see, means even the kings who has seen people just wearing, who has uh, people, bad people who has disguised themselves as devotees, even if they stab them with the knife, the king just don't react just because he's in such a like a devotee. So it's about complete devotion. So I feel that rather than achieving, even if we achieve a lot of things, uh, it will be stagnant at some point of time. But if we devote ourselves, if we surrender ourselves to the God, that will be the complete thing. So through devotion only we can achieve the maximum power, is what I feel, rather than running in this physical world. That is the thing which changes our life. So it is a pure Tamil book. If it is possible to read in the, yeah, of course, during this time there will be many translations will be available. Many short books are also there. So if it is possible to read, that will be nice. But it is a like it is little bit related to religion. So other people may not read it. So in recent days, if you ask me, there are a lot of books I have been reading. But personally, the books which I like are the biographies. So I have been worked as an intern in Christian Medical College, Vellore. Three people mainly. The biographies of three people are so interesting. One is Ida Sophia Scudder, who established the Christian Medical College institution. So it is still the number one, number two, or number three institution in the entire country, despite all the government colleges. So one of the private institutions standing as a number two medical college in the entire country is really difficult, and they're also not doing it for money, and they do a lot of service also, and the learning skills and the devotion with which people work are completely different, and which is not found in any environment. So that book I would suggest definitely. Then one is about Mary Verghese, who had three spinal surgeries. Despite having three spinal surgeries, she became a hand surgeon and started serving people, and she established a rehabilitation center. She understood that people with disabilities should not. She had three spinal surgeries. She can't walk, but still she became a hand surgeon. So she established a rehabilitation center at CMC. So that is one of the inspiring things. And one more thing is about Paul Brand. He is also part of the same. He is called as the father of the reconstructive surgery. He also established a Karigiri Institute in as a part of CMC. So he is also quite motivating, quite inspiring. So these three people, personally, in the last year, I read these books. There are also a lot of other self-help books which you can read. Like if you see biographies, mean there are a lot of books about Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Lot of books are there. Other books are like 5 a.m. Club, 10x, Deep Mindset. Many books are there, so you can read all those books. But if you personally search, if you ask me one book, that is definitely Periyapuranam. Then it depends on our life situation, whom we, in which field which we are most attracted to, what we are into. There are two types of books are called just in case and just in time. Just in case books are those books you read right now. So you will be you might need to read that book right now so that you develop the required skills. So just in time, just in time books are you might need to read these books right now, so that you can develop yourselves. But in just in case books are, you might need that book at a later point of time, so that you're reading it right now rather than reading it like that. So whenever you need some books, like you may think that, you may read about so for example, I may read about an engineering book thinking that I may build a hospital like 10 years after that. So rather than reading it right now, I can read it when it is necessary. So that will be a lot of time saving thing when compared to reading books. And when compared to reading books, you start at a stage and finish it at a stage. So don't keep on. If you start a book planning for 1 month, that finish it. That's the thing I would suggest.
Yes, sir. Very nice, sir. The on devotion and also on inspiration and also on biographies, you have really given good suggestions and best recommendations, I feel. Thank you so much, sir. And you also given the tips how to read the books and how to complete the books that may help a lot of people who are watching this podcast. Thank you so much, sir, for great information. And sir, your profile is seeming to be you're working on the technology side as well in the medical field. So, what is the impact of technology and what is the importance of this technology in the medical field? Because when we take the example of artificial intelligence or anything like machine learning, the latest technologies, the predictions. So, how much are they helpful in this medical field? And what about the telemedicine? What do you say about the telemedicine? What's your take on this
So
point? Yes, sir.
So when compared to technology, there are different kind of when you ask about artificial intelligence in medicine, it has not developed that much in India. So far as India is concerned, at least in India, it's not much developed. Even in the well-developed hospitals, they are not using it to a great extent. It might need a lot of data. Developments are still going on, but in future maybe artificial intelligence, at least for very simple things, it reduces a lot of manual work. It may not replace the human capabilities, but it might help human capabilities. It might reduce the workload of the doctors in a great way. So when you ask about teleconsultation, it has been a thing for so long time, but people are hesitating to use it for a long time. So, but in the COVID situation, teleconsultation has achieved a great boom, I would like to say. Even in CMC, for the staff and student health service, we are not allowed to enter the staff and student health service. We are just given the teleconsultation time and the phone number which doctor we should contact. So we will contact them at the respective time and we will say our problems. If there is any need, they will call them and directly examine them. For most of the, it depends. For example, for most of the problems, even if you take about COVID situation, they have established a teleconsultation thing. Even for home quarantine, 14 days, you can stay in home and you can just have a teleconsultation for the 14 days just to monitor, just the doctor can monitor you. Such things have been introduced by Kerala Medical College also. So for all the things, it is always necessary to touch the patient and examine the patient. That's what we have been taught all the time. But it depends on the situation. Situation also matters. During this time, whatever the things you want, you can always learn from home. Right from dance to singing, uh, even like practicing medicine also, it's such a thing. Like even like home workouts has become a great thing. People are there are a lot of online courses teaching home workouts, Zumba dances, all those fitness things. Even people are doing reversing the lifestyle disorders. I have given a video also that people are discussing after the doctor diagnoses with those things. Actually, people can't daily come to a doctor to monitor their blood sugar levels, to have a guidance and what are the workouts they should do, what are the insulin monitoring they can do. So those close workouts are done by other people also. They're doing it on a teleconsultation basis. They don't do any investigations. They would rather speak with the people. They will advise on the diet and the exercise. And rather after 2 months or 3 months, they will ask them to repeat a blood test and see the parameter, how they are working. So this has been done by other people, other than medical people also. This has been done for a long time. So they don't need any examination. So examination is depends for which thing we should examine. So when coming to examination in teleconsultation, I would suggest it won't be that perfect. Like if, for example, if there is a jaundice and if your sclera is yellowish, if I try to examine through the screen, it won't be that good. So most of the diseases doesn't need examination. If it is a previously established disease, for example, if it is an acute condition, definitely there need to be examination. For example, if a patient is coming for a well-controlled sugars, regular follow-up, you might not examine, although we need to examine his food and all those things, we need to check the reflexes. Sometimes during these situations, we might not examine. And for simple fevers, like if it is like 1 day fever and low grade fever less than 100 degree Fahrenheit, such things can be managed by teleconsultation. Also, teleconsultation always has a limitation. Many of the times people regret that when we see doctor, they don't touch us, they don't examine us properly. So touching rather than its examination part alone, it has a mental impact on patients. When a doctor touches a patient, patient gets satisfied. So when you ask about, so yeah, I have answered teleconsultation. This is the thing. Teleconsultation has gained when it compared to dietitian and nutrition can be done by always by teleconsultation. That will be good. But for examining acute conditions, when coming to doctor, it would be better to come and acute conditions and certain things. It is better to do direct consultation rather than a teleconsultation. For the education like diabetic education, asthma education, dietetics education, such things can be done by teleconsultation very well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. In this pandemic situations, building up the immunity, the fitness, the mental fitness, along with the physical fitness, and everything is important. So, what are your advices on building up the immunity system, building up the mental health of the people, coming out of the depression and staying positive? So, what are your advice on this as a doctor?
So I would like to say depression is one of the factors which greatly affects the people's life. It is affecting the disability. It causes the greatest disability than any other disease in the entire world. So depression, for example, but I would like to say that is nothing to be depressed in life. It's about the way in which we brought up makes us feel depressed. Um, so in the pandemic situation, immunity is not a thing which should be developed just because there is a acute pandemic. It should be our life goal, not a life goal. It should be our lifestyle, rather our lifestyle. So our very basic lifestyle should be in such a way that it develops our immunity. So it is essentially our life is designed like that. So whatever you eat, it is there to improve the health of your body, and it is not to destroy your body, and it is not to reduce the immunity of your body. So then this nutrition knowledge is not there among many people. Mainly because one reason is biology has been made an optional subject from 11th and 12th standard. So even if we try to things to people who are well educated also, they might not understand the two terms. That is one reason. So I would like to say biology should not be made an optional subject. Health education should be given to everyone, like what should we eat and what should not we eat. Daily we should eat adequate amount of fruits, vegetables and fibers, and legumes also, legumes and pulses. Apart from that, nuts and berries also we should eat. So this carbohydrate, fat and protein things, carbohydrate and fat have been portrayed as a bad thing and protein has been portrayed as a good thing, but actually that's not true. Carbohydrate is also, when you compare to carbohydrate, what kind of carbohydrate eating you are eating alone matters. If you are eating high glycemic index foods, which releases sugar faster into your blood, that is not a good thing, which comes mostly in processed foods and refined foods, refined sugars, all those things. So when it comes to fat also, Trans fat is a thing that is bad. All other fats like omega-3 fatty acids are absolutely essential, which you should adequately take in your daily diet. Taking nuts which contain a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, that will be good. Fish is also a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. So so just because our lifestyle has changed, just because we have changed to lot of processed foods, packed foods, uh, while coming to fats, we have changed to refined oil rather than our conventional gingerly oil or groundnut oil. That is the main thing which leads to decrease in our overall health. Health as it when it comes to health, it is all about health. You can't. We are suggesting specific food for COVID-19. We are suggesting specific foods to boost immunity. We are suggesting specific foods to do cure diabetes, but that is not actually needed. If it is a wholesome diet, it enhances your entire body. It cures diabetes. It improves immunity. It treats COVID. So it is a wholesome diet that needs to be followed every day, right from your childhood. That if we are doing it in such a way, there is no need for specific diet to boost immunity and all those things. So when it comes to mental health, it's all about the knowledge. So if you have for example, recently I had jaundice. I know that it's an acute kind of jaundice, and acute jaundice is caused by hepatitis A or E or B. So B came negative, which spreads mostly through blood and blood products. A and E comes to food and water. So that most of the people might have, they might not have symptoms. That is like a iceberg disease. So I had symptoms, so I had hepatitis. So I know that it is an acute thing. It is going to resolve within a week. But when you tell it to your parents, they will be panicked because jaundice is a thing which they might be thinking it is a deadly disease. If we don't follow a proper diet for 1 month, 6 months, the people may die. They might have heard stories about people, chronic alcoholics, who has died of jaundice. So such knowledge, since I had the knowledge, I didn't worry about the disease. So that helped me a lot. So if I explain the same condition to others, so since you have the knowledge, you are not panicking. But when we hear it from outside, we are panicking. So when it comes to COVID-19 also, if you have the right kind of knowledge, I have worked in COVID ward, I have seen positive patients also. So but that doesn't affect me. I didn't become COVID positive. I didn't develop any symptoms. So that thing is that. So if you have the right kind of knowledge, there is nothing to be panicked. There is nothing to be depressed also. Depression, it's the way we are brought up, the kind of mindset we are brought up. We should be brought up in a strong mindset is what I would like to say. Main things which causes depression, one thing is mainly about relationships. One more thing I would like to say, work pressure. One more thing is about money. So if you have a don't care attitude about all these things, you will definitely manage depression because life goes on all the time. Uh, Everything passes by. Nothing is stable, right? If something bad happens today, it also passes. So I would like to say there is nothing to be depressed. Just be like don't care attitude will be good thing to handle depression. Just not thinking about all those things, and rather than diverting our thoughts and energy in a constructive way would be helpful, because we are needed in this society as a human being. We have to contribute a lot to this society, and we are not here just to be depressed and waste our energy is what I feel.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That was really, really, really wonderful, sir. Because a lot of people will be really get worry about the small, small diseases, and they will be seeing all the health tips and doing all things at that time, not in the front end. But you have really said well not to be fear, not to be panicking, so to be stable in terms of mental health. That was really wonderful session. So thank you so much, sir. So now, being you have worked with the COVID patients, the corona patients in this time. So what you feel, sir? Because what's your interest on it? Because as being a doctor, that's a really great thing. Because you are like demigod for everyone. Because you're the people who are saving the life, millions of lives in this situation, any in this world. So, sir, what's your inspiration to become a doctor? And being a doctor, what you say to be strong for all these people who are facing this type of situations in terms of the strongness of health?
So if you ask me about what's the inspiration to become a doctor, I would say After after finishing 12th, I just decided I'm going to take biology group in 11th and 12th. That's all I decided. So I didn't decide about my career. So after finishing 12th only, I decided, so doctor is the thing which is my career. So that is going to be my path, is what I decided. So, but my cutoff was only about 197.75. I didn't get any government colleges at that time. So there were a lot of confusions that were going on that time, but still I took in a private institution, in a self-financed institution through counseling only. So what I feel is, rather than feeling my, I wanted to choose, rather than saying I wanted to choose medical profession, rather than saying I wanted to people, uh, I wanted to contribute people through medicine, I would say it's a decision of the God, or it's a decision of the universe, which made me, which made me enter this field. And there is a lot of things which has to be contributed in this field through me, is what I feel. I would say I didn't choose the profession by want. The profession chose me because it needed me, is what I would like to say. That's what I feel, and that's what I believe also. This may seem like a egoistic statement also. That's fine. That's completely fine. But what I personally believe is, I am needed in this field. I have to. There is a, if I'm in, for example, if you are an engineer, if you are in an engineering field, that field needs you. That field needs you, and you have to contribute a lot of things that to that field. That's why that field has chosen you. In the same way, only I believe. So that's the thing. If you ask about why I came to medical field, rather than I would say it's the field that needed me. It's the God that needed me to enter the medical field. So the next question is, the second part of the question is,
uh, how, as a doctor, how you are being strong in also working with the COVID patients, and what you, that advice you give to be strong for today's youth in terms of the health. Your
I
ex-
didn't get you.
your experiences in working with the COVID patients in these situations.
Experiences in working with the COVID patients is a funny thing only. It is not a great deal at all. Like COVID patients, we don't manage actually anything. The patients are completely stable patients almost. The patients are symptomatic. If they are like so symptomatic, and if they are like almost in a severe state, they would be managed in ICU, and we don't go to the ICU ward. So when it comes to rounds for the COVID patients, we do rounds twice a day. We are completely covered with PPE. So when it goes to morning rounds, I would like to say I did COVID duty during my pediatrics internship. So I would see all the patients. I would say, how are you? Fine. Almost all the patients are stable. Two patients who had surgery were COVID positive and had operation. So those patients, one of the patients had abdominal pain as a symptom. Rest all the patients are normal patients and they didn't have any symptoms at all. Just because their parents were positive, that's because their grandparents were positive and they were also positive. They were staying in the ward. So it's just like a flu-like illness only. It is not that serious. So working in that ward is not that difficult. So seeing the positive patient, when it comes to positive patient, it's like just you do a rounds as fast as possible and you just put a progress notes. That's all. That's it. So when it comes to working in COVID wards, it's not about seeing the positive patients alone. Lot of patients with respiratory illness symptoms will come to the ward as suspects, or people who have contact with positive patients will come to the ward.
Isolated.
Uh, just swabbing them and isolating them. So those things will be there. So the workload, I would say it's not that heavy. The duration which we work were like 12 hours is the duty which we were given, but we were given time to rest also. But the only thing that will be difficult in working in COVID wards will be wearing the entire PPE and staying for all the time. That will be the only difficult thing. Rest, it's a good experience, I would say. Uh, it also, I'm happy that COVID situation came during my internship because it helped me learn a lot about. We always use sanitizers while touching patients from one patient to another, but still it emphasizes the learning. What would I say? Like uh, not by mistake. Also, we never forget to use sanitizers from touching one patient to another patient. It's better to learn all those basics from a very young age. From during your MBBS itself, if you learn all those things, you will be carried throughout your entire life. So one thing, that's precautions, all the productive equipment before doing procedures, and the importance of sterility, all those things. So COVID situation emphasized those learnings, I would say. In CMC, usually they give Sterling prescription for all the patients who are being admitted in ward, and one Sterling will always be kept at that bedtime. But during the COVID bedside, but during the COVID situations, there was a lack of Sterling also. We were not able to give that much Sterling prescription also. One more thing is about mask. We use mask like anything in CMC, but when it comes to the COVID situation, they were giving one mask, they will write the name. So they were like very cautious about using each and everything. So that thing is also good learning. We should not waste resources just because they are available. We should be good enough in managing resources, because these masks are used for a single time and they are thrown away. So we should not generate a lot of waste. Right? In CMC, every day 4 tons of waste, biomedical waste are produced. So it is good to use the resources wisely.
Yes, sir. So one message that always keeps you happy. Whenever you listen that message, whenever you see that message, you feel very happy. Is there any one message like that, sir?
I would like to say, push it before you are ready. If you ask me to give an interview, I would say, I have not achieved a great thing. What's that to interview in me? I can say all those things, but still, we had the opportunity to always wake up. If you have the skills to take it up, it's good to take. If you don't have the skills, just go into it, develop the skills and take the opportunity. I would say never miss an opportunity. Just push it before you are always ready. Just take all the opportunities. Never take anything light. This is the thing I would like to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And today we are very, very happy to have your top answer because you have really stressed out many wonderful points and you have really boosted us with your confidence and given strong advice and strong suggestions and all the important things that are needed for in this pandemic situations and the followable suggestions, the followable recommendations in terms of health, mental health, fitness, and also the precautions we need to take care and we need not to fear in this pandemic situations. And this was really strong booster episode for all the people. So thank you so much for immediate accepting in being in your busy schedule as well and accepting my request immediately. Thank you so much, sir. That means a lot for us. And thank you, sir. And the work what which you are doing is really very great. So because the profession itself is very great because you are the main frontline warriors of the crisis what we are facing now. We are being happy and safe because you have been working for very hard for in these pandemic situations as well. So for all the people who were seeing this, thank you so much, sir, and for you also thanks for giving your wonderful talk on my channel. Thank you so much, sir. I'm very happy to have you in this session.
Thanks, Sai Krishna, for inviting me and giving the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Stay safe, sir. Stay healthy. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure, sure.